from through something, the more you learn, the more you develop that self resilience, that mental resilience. And you mentioned that you have a son, and something in the conversation of men's mental health, and sometimes children, like having a son is quite difficult because in this age of not taking care of mental health, trying by any means to just being good role models. What message would you tell him in terms of when it comes to mental well-being?
My son, right?
Yeah.
I would tell him to build mental strength. As far as physical things that he could do, I would probably put him in wrestling. Wrestling is a great exercise, even in better than jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is more to become smarter. Wrestling is to become tougher, become very tough, and never have a quit in you. It teaches you not to quit unless you don't make it. If you don't make it, then obviously you quit. But if you can withstand the training every day, you'll make it. But the message I would leave my son with is life is tough, life is hard, and life is tricky. But you can make all of that become easy, happy all the time if you are willing to ignore people's attempt to put you down. Because in today's world, you'll have more resistance from people trying to put you down and telling you can't do things than anything else. Like, never mind your enemies, your friends are keeping you back. So I would tell him to never listen to his friends when they start saying you can't. And as a matter of fact, this could be a message for everybody watching. Whenever people start telling you you can't, you should just shut that person out from your life. No matter how delusional you are. If they start telling you you can't, you should just get away from that person, because you can. Everybody, you can do whatever you want. You need two things. You need to never quit, and you need to be persistent. You have to do it day after day, day after day. Just keep at it. It's not working out. Well, change your approach, but keep going. And speed is also important. Momentum and speed is always important. You got to have a lot of speed. When you're doing things, you have an idea, because this is what happens, right? You'll have a great idea. Hey, I have this great idea that I can make a bunch of money, or I could do this. And then you'll sit with that idea and you try to perfect it too much. Well, but it has to be this way, and perfect. No, you have a great idea. Get on it right now. Whatever idea you have, I have this thing. You got to get on it immediately. There's a big difference between an idea and an action. See, you have this idea and then you have to put it in action. A great idea is not going to go anywhere unless you start doing something about it, right? Doesn't matter if imagine one day a guy that thought about going to the moon. I had this great idea, we're going to go to the moon. And then he just sat there and thought how great would it be to go to the moon and how he would get there. But he would just never do anything about it. We'd never know what a rocket is. We'd never, you know what I'm saying? Imagine a guy that said, you know what? What if I made a car? Well, what's a car? It has wheels and you can drive it somewhere and it can get you there faster, because we ride a horse now. It has this great idea, but he never put it into action. We would never have a car. So a great idea is like 10% of something. A great idea is just what makes you want to do something about it. Have the idea, and then put it into action.
Yeah, actually, it goes back to the thing of, I agree with you. I would like, in terms of persistent, is very important, being able to practice that certain thing every single day. Eventually, you will be successful. Eventually, you will master it. And still on that conversation of mental health and in terms of relationships, and the reason why actually my goal for this podcast, mostly, as much as it's about mental health, but it's also about men's mental health. It's something that is not seen. It's something, actually it's seen, but people pretend not to see it, and they don't want to know about it because it's a stigma. So I would like to relate with your story in terms of divorcing, having difficulty divorce with a narcissist. It's something that I had in a way, but it might not be actually exact, but I had a breakup last year around November, and it was very painful. And as men, we have this thing of allowing women to take over us in a way of you can't live without them, not having that self-love, of not having that thing of saying, no, as much as you can leave me, I'll be fine, I'll be good. And something that we really lack in a way. What strategies did you use to heal and move on in your perspective of having difficulties with divorce with a narcissist?
Yeah, so divorce and breakups are, for men, the hardest thing that a man can go through. It is the hardest thing a man can experience. It is divorce and breakups. But it's also the best. And here's what, when a girl breaks your heart, it puts you in this position that you just hate life. You are sad, you're moping, you're just down all the time. If you can do that for a week or two, and then you can go back and use that anger, because after a week, you start getting angry too with yourself. You want to blame yourself, you want to blame the girl, you want to blame her mom or your sister or whatever. When you take that anger and put it towards something, you have no idea how good that can work out for you. A man that just went through a breakup has more chance to become successful in anything than any other man in the world. In fact, every time I was brokenhearted, my life just changed like that. I put all that energy into something positive and worked my ass off and made a difference. So here's what you do. Men don't cry happy. Men cry angry. Women cry to manipulate and sad. Men cry angry. When you see a man cry, he's angry. He's not sad. A man that cries sad is if someone in his family dies. Other than someone dying, men cry angry. When you see a man cry, he's angry on the inside because he can't express it any other way. He's exhausted all his other options to express what he's feeling, and he cries angry. So here's the thing. If you go through a breakup, how you get over it is you have to replace the feeling for the woman with something else. If you aspire to be rich, that's when you need to start putting all those ideas you've had into work, into effect. If you aspire to be an athlete, then you need to train harder. If a woman breaks your heart, the first thing you should do, I'll give you a week. You have 1 week to be sad, mopey, and complain. After a week, you got to get your ass up, go to the gym as much as possible. Actually, if you're not working, go all day. Just go all day. Hang out at the gym. I don't care. Hang out at the gym all day. Go for runs. Start thinking in your head, what can I do to make more money? What can I do to make more money? Because here's the thing, too. It's not all about money, but I don't see too many women breaking up with rich guys. Do you?
No, definitely no.
Exactly. It's not all about money, but it is all about money. Because money, they say, because rich people have done a wonderful job of telling people, money doesn't bring you happiness. I've never seen a rich person give their money away and go be happy somewhere else. Have you?
No.
Exactly. So money does bring happiness. Money does fixes 99% of your problems. And money does shield you from breakups. People think it doesn't. Yes, it does. When you cheat, if you're poor and you cheat on a woman, it's, oh, he's a dog, he cheated. When you're rich and you cheat on a woman, another woman's trying to take my man. That's how it is. So if you're concerned about breakup, go get rich. Go figure out a way to make money. And being rich today doesn't mean having millions of dollars. If you make $2,000 a week in today's world, you're rich. You are rich. Even with inflation and everything, there isn't a single thing you want to, unless you're trying to live in a $20 million home and you want to have a yacht and a Ferrari, you don't need more than $2,000 a week to live a great life. You don't need more than that. So there's nothing to make $2,000 a week. You can make that, you can 2-3 days a week. Working 2 to 3 days a week, you can make that much. So if you're concerned about breakup and someone broke your heart, go work hard. Work out, work hard. Focus on yourself, on your personal life. Develop yourself. Invest into yourself. And I guarantee you, there won't be many women breaking up with you. And if they are, they will not be in a better position by leaving you. And you'll have many options, many options. You'll be amazed of how many women want you just because you make a little bit extra money. So, it doesn't take much. If you make a little bit more than the average guy, women will just flock to you. Trust me. So if breakup is a concern, what you need to do, go get you some money, go look better, physical shape. Make sure you dress well, you talk well. Don't talk to women you don't want to be around. Don't. Instagram is a dating app. You go to Instagram, message people you actually want to be around, make your Instagram look better, and you'll see how women flock to you.
The interesting thing in terms of No, you are not the first person that I've heard in terms of preaching the fact that you need to get money and you need to get successful. Because I really agree with you when you say that you need to use that anger, that rage towards success and use it for the greater good instead of moping around, of saying, of trying to get her back. But true success is quite an interesting thing. Actually, not interesting thing. It's quite a way to go. It is not something. It's not a rocket science. If you put all that energy through working, through success, you will definitely be successful and you will be an unstoppable force. I don't lie. And speaking about success, our last part, speaking about success, you transition from a successful business owner to a law of attraction coach. What motivated you to focus on personal growth and helping others? Did this shift connect to your own mental health journey?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. When I went through some hard times, I always thought to myself, "This sucks, and there's nowhere for me to run to. Like, who am I going to run? Like, if something goes wrong in my life, where am I going to run to? To my house to get who? Me? There's nobody to save me." Once I understood that nobody's going to save me, it became easy for me to develop the way to save myself. And then what I started to do is, okay, I need to set myself up to be the one who saves me all the time. I cannot depend on friends, on mom and dad. I cannot depend on anything. I need to depend on myself to save me. And then I found a way to do that. And the way I found to do that is to start your own business, make your own money, invest money in different things, save some money for yourself, and have a cushion. Because nothing will stress a man more than looking at your watch and saying, uh-oh, rent's coming up in 3 days, and I don't even have half the money. Uh-oh, I want to take this girl out, but I can't take her to this restaurant because it's expensive. Uh-oh, I want to do this, but I can't. I would really love to go on a trip with the boys, but I can't. So I figured out a way that I got myself out of it. And then now I know how to get other people out of it too. And doing that, I help others, but I also help myself. So I developed a way, I developed a method. It's funny because when I teach people now, I kind of learn for myself too. And when I talk to different people, I kind of learn a lot of things too, which is weird. I used to hear that cliche, a teacher learns a lot from her students too. And that is true. When I'm teaching people, I learn a lot. And I learned that you have to have sympathy for people. You don't know what they're going through, Like you said, you went through a breakup. You'll see a guy out in the street angry in traffic, yelling at you, and a lot of people just want to fight and maybe pull a gun and shoot that person. You don't know what that person just went through. You don't know if that person has a child that has cancer. That person just left by his wife. That person just lost half of everything he had. Or that person's having a terrible day. And so helping people, you kind of make the world around you better. Whoever has the influence, you can influence the people around you to become better. As long as you're a good person, because you can't be a shitty person making other people shitty, because that will happen too. So I take a lot of pleasure in trying to help people around me. And a lot of times even away from me, through the internet. But yeah, I think helping people is an important part of life. If you're not a mentor to anybody, what are you really doing with your life? If people can't look up to you, like who are you really in life? If you get to the end of your life and you can't even say, hey, listen, I inspired people to be better, to be different. I inspired people to take a step forward. If you don't think you can get to the end of your life and have that feeling that you inspired others, what are you really doing with your life? Maybe you need to look at yourself and say, man, I really wasted years of my life doing nothing. Absolutely nothing.
And it goes, and also I have to agree with you with that in terms of as much as you didn't have, for example, as much as you didn't have a role model back then, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't step up of being what another person's role model. And